with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around with me. You could be with anyone. I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Let's. All right, so here's an interesting topic. This is something that I discovered. It says, am I wrong for not giving my cheating wife another chance? Now, I know some people are going to look at that and say, you are absolutely not wrong for giving that lying heifer another opportunity to break your heart and drag you into degradation. I get it. Right? And I understand the positions of infidelity. When people take the position that they absolutely positively can't forgive infidelity, I get that. Because I myself look at it, my relationships, whether it's friendships, work relationships, whatever the case may be, I don't like spending my time, energy, and essence and lifespan worrying about whether somebody is betraying me. If I feel like you're going to betray me or you have betrayed me, I tend to leave you alone. So I get that. So let's get to the article. Am I wrong for not leaving my cheating wife or giving my cheating wife another chance? The guy, he's 39 years old, and his wife is 33 years old. They have been together for 13 years. She recently went away on a girls' trip. Oh, them damn girls' trips. Leading breakup since 1956. I was not worried at all. I have never had a reason to distrust her, which is good. She has never done anything to give me an excuse or cause for concern. And it's not like she was even going away. She was going to a resort a half an hour away. She went with her sister and a few other girls. So she was going with family and friends, and she was merely going away. And the way this kind of works out, I get it. She's going about a half hour away. She probably wants to be able to get loose and get wild, drink, and nobody has to worry about trying to drive home, which is awesome. So they're kind of taking a responsible tact to this situation, and I get that. It's always problematic that, when you're going out and nobody can drive home, you're only a half hour away from the house and nobody can drive. You all plan on getting that wrecked, that nobody can be responsible. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. No real judgment there. It's just kind of, it's just not necessarily something that I would think of doing. She called me up this morning and I didn't expect anything other than her checking in. She's only been away one night out of a 3-night trip. Damn, she ain't wasted no time. She was on it. Soon as she touched down, she was scoping the room, boy. When I answered her, she was crying and incoherent. Oh, that's never good. When your lady call you up and she crying, be like, oh, she done went to Crystal Lake. This chick done ran into Jason or something. She calling you right away. Oh my God, you gotta get here quick. Like there's problems going on. What the hell is happening? You thinking she had the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something, and turn out that she just Free Willy. She's in a different movie. When I finally calmed her down, she told me she had slept with someone else the night before. Wow. So she didn't waste no time letting you know, which is good. I mean, she guilty conscience. You don't want to ride that too long. Supposedly she met a guy who she approached. Wow, she admitted she went up to him. He was fine. Dog, you had to see what I was saying. Could not let that go. They flirted a little and danced together. There's nothing wrong with flirting with somebody and dancing with people. That's acceptable. She thought that was as far as it would go. Uh-oh. But he supposedly just charmed her into a kiss. Oh, it's magic. He must have threw that fairy dust on her. Charmed her into the kiss, which turned to a makeout, which turned to her asking him to walk her back to her hotel, which turned into them doing the naked mambo. Okay, that's ridiculous. So it didn't turn into anything. It's what happens. And this is kind of that weird part where people start to make excuses. You don't understand. It just kind of happened. Nothing just happens. Everything goes in stages. Like if he just walked up to you and all of a sudden you guys just started smashing into each other, and then because of the gravity pull of the earth and then because of the time-space continuum, you magically appeared back in your room and nobody had clothes on, then you could say, well, it just happened. But anything short of that, it didn't just happen. These are all decisions that were being made. Everything that you did, you decided to do. These are small choices. And so we always have to keep that in mind. That's what I always say. She says nothing was amiss. He wasn't pushy or weird, and they actually had did some back work multiple times. Well, it's amazing that you just went ahead and shared with him that, we didn't just do it once. He got it in all night long. He was tearing it to pieces. I thought he was going to turn me inside out. Nobody want to hear that. Like, just in case I didn't hurt you enough, let me just dig this knife a little deeper. And they actually had it multiple times because she would say they need to stop, and he would stop immediately. And then, after a few minutes, she wanted him to carry on, and he would. Because he's such a good person, such a kind soul. Apparently, she had enough wherewithal to feel bad about it to tell him to stop, but she didn't feel bad enough to ask him to leave. Just saying. This supposedly went on for 3 hours, and she eventually said stop for good and asked him to leave. And he did. After 3 hours... Lady, they don't even make movies 3 hours long. What are you talking about? Oh, somehow you're absolved because he didn't finish. Get out of here. He never completed the race, but you let him run. You let him test drive the track a few times. Apparently, what are you talking about? The guy is supposedly 10 years younger than her. Of course, that makes it so much better because he's younger. And she said she lied and told him she was going through a divorce. And that's also awesome. So she was a liar last night, but tonight she's good to go. And she's, George Washington with the cherry tree, apparently. She can't tell a lie. She says she doesn't know what came over her. And she just wanted to see if she still had it, but got carried away. Well, you still got it, and you about to get everything that come along with it. How about that? 14 years married for 10, and we have a 7-year-old daughter. I want to leave her. She's begging me not to. Please let me cheat on you again. And that's the sad part about it, because there's always a position that I've always kind of taken, and it was told to me when I was a young dude, that if you break up with somebody or somebody gives you cause to break up with them or something big happens and you accept their apology and you bring them back, a small degree of you is accepting the situation for what it is. And you're giving them a pathway where they can repeat that bad behavior and they can come back. You're creating that experience, therefore, and that expectation. So the bar has already been set, that if they do this thing, they apologize enough that you may take them back. And so this is like that time when you hear about guys who will go out and do a wrong thing and they bring their wife home flowers and they cry and they complain and they understand that when they do this thing, I'm going to have to give her flowers. I'm going to have to beg for her back. She's not going to speak to me for a week. And then after a week, she's going to let me come home and everything is going to be back to normal. And so when they decide, or at least calculate whether this is something they want to do, that's part of the calculation. Am I willing to give up a week of home time so that I can get some bone time? Am I willing to put that hour, apparently those 3 hours, am I willing to indulge in these 3 hours and so that and be out of the house for a week? And in some cases, people say, yeah, why not? It's a good time. So that's why you just have to balance that out. I mean, and every situation is different. I understand that. She's begging me not to, offering marriage counseling, never going out again, never drinking again, etc., etc. The problem is none of those things are the problem. The problem is your decision making. It's your choices. It's not you going out. It's not you drinking. It's not you dancing. Hell, it's not even the fact that you were flirting with somebody, light flirting. Shit like that happens. I don't even care about that, right? Just don't do it in front of me. Don't disrespect me. Do it in front of me. But At the same time, don't think that I have to tie you down and hold you down or restrict your positions, your movement, or what you can do, and that's somehow going to keep you faithful to me. I have a problem with that. I shouldn't have to take your phone away or be under threat that I might go through your phone for you not to be on your phone on Tinder swiping right. I think it's swiping right to pick up strangers and get a little weird in. Like, that's not a thing. So that has to be taken into account. I've always been a one chance sort of guy. Good. Well, I get that. And I'm kind of that same way too. Like, if I come to a point in a relationship where I'm willing to call the line on the relationship, I'm saying the relationship is over, there's really not a whole lot of comeback with me. Like, I'm pretty much, like, when I'm done, which is why I'm very hesitant about breaking up. Like, I know people who break up every week. You know, they get an argument. You didn't put the lid back on the toothpaste. This relationship is over. I'm tired of this marriage. And they storm out the house. And they'll come back like at 5 o'clock. You know, hey, what's for dinner? Like nothing happened. You know, that's not me. I'm one of those people, like, I keep my powder dry. So if I'm going to break up with somebody or I'm leaving or I'm no longer I'm going to conclude a business, then I'm pretty much done from that point forward. Because in my view, if you keep threatening it, if you keep promising it, what happens is it lessens the impact. So when it finally does reach the point where you're ready to call it quits or call it over, call a game, all of a sudden they think it's going into overtime. They think that it's okay and there's no problem because you say that all the time. So I don't expect there to be an issue. They don't take you serious when you say it. And the threat is minimal, if not at all. So I get him saying that he's a one-time guy. I get that. I just told her to go blank herself. Well, apparently she don't have to do it to herself because she got company, and have been ignoring her since about 10 a.m. Now her friends and sister are calling me too. They apparently had no idea she'd even gone home with him. And this is kind of a weird position. Like, I don't need people calling me on your behalf. If I already had a conversation with you and I told you I need time, please don't have folks calling me thinking they mending bridges, because all that's doing is frustrating the situation. He needs time to process this because this is all new information to him. She's been sitting on this. She dealt with it and she made her choices. Now you have to give him the opportunity to make his choices. And that's what it comes down to. And that's why I say, I don't check phones. I don't go behind you. I'm not following you down the street. I'm not showing up at your job unannounced. None of that stuff. Because to me, I'm giving you ample opportunity to make whatever choice you want to make. But with the understanding that when you make your choice, I get to make my choice. So if you choose to go out there and live wild and go wild fishing, and because, you know, you got your fishing license, there's plenty of fish in the sea, and I say, you know what? I'm the ranger and I just revoked your license. You can't come back and fish in this pond no more. You can go out there and do what you want to do, but you're not coming back this way. That's what I like. So don't call, like, if you family and friends, don't call thinking you healing stuff. And the fact that you didn't know doesn't help. Okay? You talk to your sister or your friend about the foolishness that they was involved with and leave me out of it. Because this is ideally a situation between him and his wife, and they don't need a whole lot of company in that situation. It's bad enough. They apparently had no idea she'd even gone home with him, which is crazy as hell because apparently she'd been gone for 3 hours and y'all didn't even look for her, make sure she was okay, or even call and check on her. They say they saw them talking, but thought nothing of it. I just want them all to leave me alone. See, there you go. Want them to leave you alone so you can process the situation. I told my mom about it, and she said I should think of my family. Wait, what? I should think of the family? Lady, what? I'm not the one that betrayed the family. I was thinking of the family when I was home with the child. And I let my wife go out to the resort with her family, with her sister and her friends because she said she needed a break. I was thinking of the family. She wasn't thinking of the family. Let's read that one more time. I told my mom about it, and she said I should think of my family, and that my wife seems genuinely remorseful and didn't try and hide anything. So because you told the truth, I'm just automatically supposed to forgive you? It's okay. You were honest about it. It's fine. That's not how life works. There's actions, there's reactions, there's things you do, and then there are the consequences. And what she's dealing with now is the consequences of her actions, the results of her decisions. She has to take accountability for the things that she did wrong, and this is part of taking accountability, which is dealing with the consequences. Too bad, so sad. Things don't always work out for you, princess, but that's just how it works. So to follow that up, she said that it's not like she had an affair. What? What is mom doing? It's not like she cheated on you when she cheated on you. What? Let's hear this all the way out. That it's not like it's an affair, and that is as bad as it is. This is best case scenario. I don't even understand what the heck he wrote on that one. I guess he was writing this bad boy through tears. That is not like she had an affair, and that is as bad as this is. Best case scenario, after that conversation, I feel like I'm insane. Am I wrong for not considering forgiving her? No, you're not wrong. That has to be part of your healing process. Like, you have to put all options on the table, and you have to go with the option that best suits you in your life or where you are. There are considerations that must be taken into account. The mom doesn't consider it an affair. I guess she considers it an affair if it would have been a long-lasting thing where it was like multiple times, not just in one night, but multiple times where they met up and they got together and put in some back work, and he broke her down like a few times a week. Then that would be an affair. If she was planning on leaving with him, then that would be an affair. But, you know, for some people, the parameters of your relationship may be different from other people, and I understand that. These are part of the reasons why you have to have these types of conversations. But let's not get it confused. If she thought she was good to go and she was greenlit to do the activity that she was participating in, she certainly wouldn't have called the next morning crying, asking for forgiveness for the things that she had did. In fact, why are you still there? She called him the first thing in the morning after the first night of going away to tell him about cheating. But she's not in her car coming home to tell him. She didn't come home and sit in the living room and tell him face to face. She's still at the hotel, so she's still planning on rocking out the last 2 nights of her vacation. So she was really sorry. Maybe that was just a sampler. She wanted to see how far she could go. Like, how much is he willing to put up with? I told him what happened. So day 2, day 3, when she bringing 3-4 dudes back at a time, hey, I told you what it's about. It's girls' weekend. It's wild times at Richmond High. And you have to accept it because I told you about it. Like, forget all that stuff. And she was a good mother. Here's a follow-up to it. It says, same day, 9 hours later. 9 hours later. So my wife came home tonight. Okay, good for her. She figured it out. And she needed to come home. After giving me the day to cool off, I asked to see the guy. And this is one of them parts where people do this and it's just merely punishing yourself. Like, you don't really need to see the guy. It doesn't matter what the guy looked like. You know, he could look like Brad Pitt or he could look like Humpty Dumpty or Bozo the Clown. It doesn't make a difference. She did what she did. And if you look at the guy and he's amazing looking, or if you look at, you know, in a case where it's a young lady cheating on you and you look at her and she's amazing, is it going to make you better? Is it going to make you, oh, wow. I mean, okay, Miss Arkansas, that's incredible. Yes. That's fine. She's a good girl. That's a good one right there. That's excusable. I understand. I'm not understanding. I don't give a damn what he looked like. So you can miss me with that one. He said, I don't know why. Maybe I'm a sucker for punishment. Absolutely. You're trying to torture yourself. You're trying to punish yourself because you want to. Sometimes people, in order to make a decision, they really want to feel all the pain all at once. So they ask for this kind of punishment so that they can hurt themselves, so that they can get up the courage to go ahead and leave the situation. And of course, he looks like a superhero. Okay, this dude look like Captain America or whatever. Elastic Man. So that's great. For the record, my wife is beautiful. Like perfect teeth, works out regular, etc. I'm not ugly, but I'm just a typical guy. Not overweight, but could probably lose a few pounds, bit on a dad bod, etc. Still have a full head of hair, which is nice. Okay, so he's tearing himself down to build himself back up and talking about how awesome his wife is because that makes it okay for her to cheat, apparently. I always felt, and not saying that this is what he's thinking, but I'm just saying, like, don't do that either. Don't tear yourself down and build the other person up like you don't deserve to have a relationship with fidelity to it. Like, you don't deserve to have your, heart intact. Like, you don't deserve to have your heart broke because you put on a couple pounds. I always felt so lucky to be with her. She was an amazing partner, an amazing mother, funny, intelligent, etc. I asked her to lay out what happened to me in more detail. Oh my goodness, this dude is a glutton for punishment. He must like get punched in the face. Like, just hit me in the face as hard as you can, repeatedly. Because this is all that is. You just torture yourself at this point. She did what she did. She told you she did it. But how many times she did it, how long it was, how great it was, how amazing it was, doesn't make a difference. How good the dude looked, the partner looked, it doesn't make a difference. It is what it is. I wanted to catch any lies, changes in the story, test her consistency. Yeah, I wanted to test her, see if she was telling the truth when she told me she cheated on me. If she was going to lie about anything, she would have lied about that. As for her telling him she was divorcing, what happened was, he glanced down, noticed her ring, and asked her about it. Apparently, once she said that, he went on to say, like, I give a blank either way. Like, I don't give a damn either way. What a good guy he is. What a gent. What a kind fellow. I don't care whether you're married or not. I was just asking so I know whether I should be looking over my shoulder or not. So that pretty much tells you where this guy was. He went there with the idea that he was going to hook up. And this is, it's one of the meat markets, and he's a shopper. He's a customer. So it is what it is. And to be honest with you, with regard to that, it's not his responsibility to maintain your fidelity to your relationship. He didn't do any vows. He never promised to love, cherish, respect, or whatever the relationship. He didn't do any of that. So he doesn't have any responsibility to your husband. This is what I would have told the wife. He doesn't have no responsibility to me. You do. You promised that you would love and take care of me and be here for me, and I would do the same. This was an agreement between the two of us. So for him to say that, I don't give a shit whether he was happy, sad, or appreciative of the fact that you were married. You knew you were married. You were there. I saw you. I asked if she thinks he could have slipped her something, or slipped her anything, and she says it's impossible, because they only did shots together. I asked if she took any drugs, and she admitted that doing some booger sugar with her friends. That ain't good. Which isn't all that surprising. Oh, wow. He said, hey, it's not surprising. When you go out, gotta have fun. Guys gotta have a good time. It is what it is. Okay, fine. That's your life. You live your life the way you want to live your life. Again, you have to be careful about when you go out with your friends. Alcohol is not an excuse. And any activity that you participate in involving substances is not an excuse. You're making choices. You're making decisions. If you know you can't hold your liquor, don't go out and get wild and don't get sloppy when you're out there doing your thing. Because there's nothing wrong with you guys having a good time, but it's when good times start making poor decisions, and those good times lead to bad situations. So I don't really do the whole I was drunk. But then you had the courage to stand there, you're defending the dude. Like, that's impossible. He would never do that because he's such a good guy. A few of you seem, and this guy's desperately probably trying to hate the guy and give you a way out, but she wouldn't take it. To her credit, like, if he didn't do anything wrong, then don't accuse him of doing anything wrong. She went on to talk about how the guy made her feel young, and she didn't feel bad. He said, I asked her why she even told me, and she said that when she woke up, she saw that I had sent a selfie of me and our daughter eating pizza together, and it sent her into a nervous breakdown. That she wailing and sobbing so loud it woke up her sister, and that's when she confessed. Her sister told her she was insane for what she did and wasn't very comforting, and then left the room mad at her, which made it even worse. And that's when she called him. So she was mad because the sister didn't comfort her and make her feel okay about the bad decision that she made. It kind of begs the question, what would have happened if the sister would have been like, girl, it's okay. Everybody's doing it. Sometimes you get down, gotta get your groove on. What? Just to wrap this up, it says, I've asked her to leave the house for a few days, and she is staying at her mother's house while I decide what I want to do. She begged me not to make her leave, but she did when I said it was the least she could do after blowing up our entire lives over wrinkles and that made us sad. That's some cold customer shit. Yeah, since you was sad about them wrinkles, it's the least you can do, wrinkles. And this is where it kind of comes in too, because when we get into like a fascination thing, especially in our culture, where we start talking about affairs and open relationships and da-da-da, and I've done videos on it, like open relationship swinging and all that. The truth of the matter is that if it's done outside of the relationship and outside of an agreement, you are betraying a trust. And the betrayal of that trust that you've built up over through the years of experience that you've had with each other, is torched, it's destroyed. So now, even if he said, okay, I'll take you back, that's not saying that he won't remember how you treated him and the things that you did to him, which caused you to cheat and make him feel the way he felt. So it's just something to consider before you make this choice, because it's not just the moment that you get to decide to cheat and whether he takes you back. It's the day after that and the day after that. He may be walking through a store, look at something, and then remind him of the guy you cheated with, and all of a sudden you're right back to ground zero of when he first found out. So it's, something to consider. As for my mother, Mom Dukes, she still thinks I should forgive her. I don't know what mom is on. Okay, for context, my dad died about a year ago, and my wife has really been a rock for my mom. I cannot see her as much as I would like. Okay, that's unfortunate due to my work. But my wife is a self-employed lash nail tech and has a lot of time, free time. Oh yeah, she'd have plenty of free time messing with me, Jack. You got all day to look for a place to stay. and have girly days to try to make sure she doesn't get lonely. Like I said, she was such a perfect partner. Okay, that's great. She was a perfect partner, but that time has closed. And you have to look at your situation for what it is and not for what it was. Not saying that you totally discount your previous experience, but you have to put it into the it all has to get factored in. You can't just focus on what used to be, because that person for you no longer exists. That perfect person no longer exists. Now you have the person who goes away for girls' weekends and makes bad choices. No, I don't think my mom is a cheater or whatever, and she is very angry at my wife, but she loves her. And she just wants everything to be okay. My daughter has no idea what is happening. She was already asleep when my wife came home and went again. She will just think mommy is still on holiday. Wow, still on vacay. Okay, I still have no idea what I'm going to do. Honestly, I'm seething and reeling, but that's basically everything. And this is unfortunate because, especially when you have kids involved, when you make these kinds of decisions, and like I said, along the way, she was making decisions the whole time. When you decided that you were going to go out and hang out with your buddies, that was a choice, and that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with these smaller choices. You go hang out with your buddy, you're going to drink, you're going to have a good time, you're going to dance, you're going to shake your butt, whatever the case may be, that's cool. That's all choices. But when you stand there and choose to start talking to somebody, that's a choice. When you guys are continuing and prolonging that conversation, that's a choice. You know when you're in that situation whether you're feeling that other person. You know whether you're jiving with them and whether this dude can get it. I've always said that about women. Women know within the first few seconds that they meet you whether there's a possibility that they could be attracted to you. They know right off the rip. They know. And if you know that this is somebody that you could be attracted to, for precaution's sake, walk across the room like, hey, it was nice meeting you. I'm going to go ahead and get back to my friends. That's all she had to do, and that would have changed the trajectory of her whole girls' weekend. Let me know what you guys think down below. This is My Take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.